What's up guys, Azure here. Today we're going to be talking about the Paladin build for Module 28. We're going to start with the race. We're using ICMR for the power and outgoing healing and the max HP, which gives us 2%, and the group also gets 2%. You could go with the Wood Elf, which is a free-to-play class race, which gives 5% critical chance. We could go with the Dragonborn, gives power critical chance. It's great options to have. Maybe the Drow. The Drow gives a bunch of debuffs. However, if you're playing strictly as a healer, the at-will you're going to be using, it's a very slow one, and the debuffs, it's on a 5% chance to apply on damage. So you're probably going to have no uptime on the debuff. So I think the best course of action here is to go with that race that gives you stats. Attribute-wise, we're going to go with Wisdom for the outgoing healing and Dexterity for the critical severity. Critical severity is usually the issue with the Paladin. That's why we have it here. Movement speed is always great because we don't have dodge. We just have a shield, so mobility is great. We're going to do the same thing I did with the last build video. I'm going to calculate the stats here so you know I'm capping everything. We have 63.1 power right now. We have no debuffs whatsoever. We can get 5% from the helmet, gonna get 3.5 from Portobello, and 15 from the Raptor, which is gonna put us on 86.6. However, if you have the Forger box, you can get up to 3%, and if you have the Boom, 6% more. So we do have a little bit of extra power here. We do have like 95, which is fine because we do have a little inconsistent power here when it comes to the Boom and the Forger box. So we do have a little extra. Critical strike wise, we do have 79.2 right now. With the Wildstorm elixir, we're gonna get 2,000 ratings. This is gonna put us above 80. And we're gonna get 5% of the Devil's Precision. I'm not using Devil's Precision right now. Let me put it. Devil's Precision, and we're gonna get 5 from the Squash Soup, so we're gonna be fine. Unfortunately, we're gonna be using the Squash Soup. Critical severity, you're gonna get 5 from the Flask of Potency, 5 from the Wildstorm elixir, and 5 from the Squash Soup. 15, we have 75, you're gonna cap critical severity. Outgoing healing, we do have 74.6 right now. You're gonna get 5 from the helmet, 12 from the gear. So we're gonna have a little above 90, 91 something. So you have everything capped. You're using the Divine Ages here, which gives stuff above the healing cap. We're using the Opal Ring, we're using all the buffs we can. So that's the build, guys. So let's talk about the gear, guys. For the headpiece, I'm using the new one, the Ultraviolet one, that gives 5% outgoing healing, 5% power. I was able to put this in the build. I think it's a little bit better than the critical strike one that we had in the Moon Dancer because it's more reliable. For some reason, the critical strike one, in some cases, it doesn't stack back up. It's very strange. I know for a fact that this is stacking up, at least on the new dungeon. This one was not. And on the new dungeon in particular, I got bothered really bad because I died quite a lot in the last boss, especially as a paladin, because we don't move as fast. So yeah, I was able to put this one. You could go with the regen, although I think it's a little too much. The Paladin has a lot of stuff that regen to regen the divinity, which you're probably gonna be using in the build anyway. So I think this is a little overkill, but it's up to you. You can go with that. There's a bunch of other options, guys, for the critical strike. We do have those from the Dragon Hunts. We do have stuff from the Master Demon Epics. Rain Catch is always good. There's one upgrade to that in the Master Demon Epic Hunts as well. Yeah, but go with this one. It's a higher item level. The new one, it's better. For the armor, I'm still with the raiment from the Master Demon Weapons because it's the more supportive chest piece. It gives critical strike to everybody, including myself, and I also get outgoing healing. I know it's not the most efficient chest piece. You could be using stuff from the hunts, and even I know some people like to use this one here from the Moon Dancer, which is higher item level, but it's even less efficient. It gives like 6% outgoing healing. And to be honest, guys, I don't really like this effect because if you start to taking damage, you're not gonna get the benefit of this effect anymore. And yeah, that's when it really matters the most. If you think about it, you do have a bunch of fights, important ones that do some damage over time. And yeah, you need to, if you using this chest piece, your heals is gonna get, will be getting weaker and weaker the more damage you take. And the weaker we got, the less health you're gonna have, and it's gonna get weaker and weaker, guys. I really don't like it. Might be me being picky, but yeah, when you need the most of the heals, you're not gonna have it. Yeah, there's stuff from the hunts as well. Like you do have a very similar one to the Master Demon weapons in the hunts as well. We do have like the rib cage and other options as well. I think there's a 12% critical strike one, which is similar to the helmet. So yeah, a bunch of options. For the arms, we're going for a straight upgrade from what we had in the Moondessa. Same thing, we're getting Divinity, and now we're getting 2.5 Forte. So easy choice right there. Main hand shield, up to you. I think Solero is the what most people are using right now for doing the dungeon. I'm not sure if it's going to be best for next module because we know it's not going to be in wild space. You could go with the perfect weapons if you need stats, or if you want to save some consumables. You could go with Mastercraft, any form of it, to go with the to help the team a little bit more. Gonna lose some item level, but it is what it is. I think you don't need that much of a heal, to be fair. And Void Touch weapons, guys, really great. They look great. The best is lot for appearance for sure, but the effect is a little strange in my opinion. Yeah, it only works in when you're fighting only one enemy. And yeah, if you look at the wild space content we have, Moon Dancer, it's a no-no. We do have a bunch of ads there. And a new dungeon, just the second boss. So yeah, I wouldn't go with the Void Touch, but yeah, they're definitely an option if you don't have any. We're back to Solera here. For the boots, we're gonna get the straight upgrade from what we had in the Moon Dancer. Same thing, we're gonna get regen, but now we're gonna get 2.5 outgoing healing. I will be using this outside of the wild space as well, even though I lose a little bit of regen. I don't really matter. I don't think most of the cases, like most of the dungeons and the game modes I play, I don't really run out of divinity. So it's very rare, so my divinity regen is fine. For the artifacts, we're gonna get the upgrade from the Helastus Blast Scepter. It's it comes from the new dungeon. It's really cheap and an extra health. Just buy it. You can unbuy from the whole account. You're gonna have that. For the rest is up to you. We're gonna have the one to complete the debuff set, which is the Vistani. I'm using the symbol of water here for the stamina regen, and I do have the knives. For the artifact set, I'm using the Vistani for the debuffs. I think this is the best option for the Paladin because my attacks, we do have like two options as attacks, like Divine Fulmination, which is really, really slow. So the uptime, it's not going to be great if you go for the Bailiff set or the Apocalypse. So if you're using Divine Fulmination, Vistani is probably the best option here. And Divine Fulmination can proc both Grace, which is another debuff, and Vistani. The other option is to go to play melee, the sword attacks. And the At-Will is not an AoE, so it doesn't proc Vistani, it doesn't proc melee, doesn't proc Grace. But it would help you to have a better upside if you choose to go with the Megalith or the Apocalypse set. It wouldn't work with the Grace though. So if you choose to go Megalith Apocalypse, and you can drop the Grace. But I think the best option for us here, Paladins, is go with the Vistani so we can use the Grace as well. So both Vistani and Grace are here for debuffs. They don't give me anything at all, not even the ratings. So yeah, if you need stuff for item level or I don't know, stats, you can change those. I do suggest you go with debuffs, guys. I know some people like to go with the detector showcase here, which is the new set from the Moon Dancer. She increases the heals even more, even beyond the cap. But yeah, I would suggest you go with the debuff if you're end game. If you're starting a build, starting your tune, focus on your roll first. Focus on your heals. You're not gonna people not gonna bother too much, to be fair, especially if you're a paladin, because they're probably inviting you because of the shields. So the bigger shields you have, the better. But the the goal of the debuff here, guys, is to make your life easier. You're gonna have smoother runs, faster runs. People gonna die less. You're gonna have to heal less. So this helps you in a lot of different ways. You and a group, of course. And for the other ring, using the Opro, we are able to cap all the stats. So we're gonna put all everything we can in the heal. And the Oppo helps out with the total healing. It goes above the cap, and it increases the effectiveness of the Divine Shelter, which is what we mostly use. You could go with the one from the Gizelnet. Um, I think most people will not have that love and dumbness to increase the single target heal, so you would focus more into shielding the tank for, I don't know, tank buster scenarios like the Moon Dance, Master Demon Lepids, and other content. But I don't think you need that. Your shield is big enough, even for me using the debuffs with the low item level. So I'd rather have the open range to increase the shields on the DPS with the Divine Shelter. Shirt, we're gonna be using the one from the Moon Dancer that gives outgoing healing. Same story as the armor piece. This is a most reliable buff. Just by getting into the group, we get the outgoing healing. People get a little bit of forte. It doesn't really help much, but it's something, right? Yeah. This is the best option in my opinion. But if you don't have any, you could go with the new one. If you drop it, it gives outgoing healing as well, but it does have this annoying buff, that annoying effect that it decreases the effectiveness of the outgoing healing there, depending on how many enemies you're facing. So it's annoying there. That's why I keep the one from the Moon Dancer. Just a steady 7.5 outgoing healing and some forte as well, which helps with the regen. For the trousers, we get the one that gives 5% power and defense. This is a really old one. You can buy in the actual house for other players. You can drop it from I'm not sure if it's M26, like a Demon Web Pits stuff, encounters. I might be wrong though, but you can buy it. It's really cheap. You can buy it from other players in the actual house, the auction house. For the enchantment, guys, offense-wise, we're gonna be going with 2 Jades, 1 Cabal, 1 Guarded. Utility, Jade for the outgoing healing. Defense, you can go whatever. I usually have duplicates of what I have in the offset, just in case I need to switch things around. Uh, because you never know which direction the mod is gonna go, so it's good to have options. Always build up options in our account. For the overload, we're gonna go with the Devil's Precision for the critical strike. The other one is up to you. You can go with a White Dragon one to increase a little even more the heals. I'm not sure if it's working or not, but you can go. It's really cheap, so there's nothing to lose there if you choose to go with the White Dragon. If you don't have anything else to put, the other alternative is to go with the wards. Those wards here come from the clan, the guild. So I would only use the wards if they do have this effect that to share with their allies through the healing. This is really good. For the demon web pits, for example, the demon wards there, you're gonna get everyone 10% mitigation, so it's great. Other than that, you could go extra points. I don't think it's worth it because the dailies on the Paladin are not that powerful. You're gonna be using very specific situations as well. But if you don't have anything else, you could go with extra point or any defensive one that you have. I only have those defensive ones here, the other ones here, because I got it for free buying the Zen stuff to get the campaign dungeon earlier. For the combat, we going with the Celestial Divine Aegis for, we don't care about the shields. It's really, really small. I don't even see, guys, really. Uh, I can't even see it. But we're going for the Divine Aegis because of the outgoing healing there. It's total outgoing healing, which means it goes above the cap. That's why. We are capping all the stats. We going with the debuffs. We're going the open ring for more heals. We're going with the Divine Aegis for more heals. Good stuff, guys. You could go with the Celestial Lightning Flash if you're struggling a little bit with the stats, because it gives like 10.8 critical strike, so it's a good alternative as well. Eventually you could invest in those as well. Mythical Reforged Fortification here, you could use this. I didn't even upgrade it yet because I don't think the Paladin needs it, to be fair, because of the shields. But yeah, if you need a little more, even more mitigation for helping the tank, you could maybe invest in this one as well. I see some people using the flash freeze because it's kind of a debuff, but you gotta get hit, guys, so it doesn't really help you at all, to be fair. Go with the Celestial Flash or the Divine Aegis. If you're buying your first enchantment, just go straight for Divine Aegis. Bonus wise, we go with the movement speed. Again, we don't have dodge, we don't have a slip, we don't have a blink, teleport, any kind of fence move like that. We just have the shield, so it's really good for the mobility to get away from those red AoEs, especially in the last boss in the new dungeon. It's really annoying, man. You know that if he teleports to the other way, he hits you, man. It's annoying. So for the boons, we go into power, critical strike, power, critical severity, power, grab, movement speed. I do like the lingering potion effects, just in case I need to use in combination with the Guild Stronghold boon to get a little more healing and stats for everybody. After that, you can grab everything you want. Defensive wise, you can go with the hit points or defense and awareness like I did. And up here, we grab the Forte, outgoing healing mainly. After that, recharge speed, action point again. First, you're gonna grab Blast Advantage for the power, and after that, Blast Resilience to help the tank with the stamina. Everyone, to be fair, with little defensive stats. Guild Stronghold boom, I'm using power, defense. I'm using defense, utility, revive sickness. PvP doesn't really matter. So companion-wise, we're gonna be using Portobello. I love my Portobello. It's the most efficient one. It gets 7% stats, 3.5 to help me, and 7 to help the DPS. I know the DPS might prefer more combat advantage, but yeah, I'm using a bunch of debuffs. I think I can give myself a break and use Portobello, to be fair. You can eventually grab this if you do 5 appointment events, and you can buy that for the whole account. If you're planning to have multiple supports, it's a great option to have. Other than that, Dritz, Tutor, I would not buy the Tutor right now because the next lockbox is going to give us a new version of the Tutor, which is probably going to become on Mythic, becoming on Mythic on the lockbox, and it's going to be account wide. So don't buy the Tutor right now. You can use it if you have it already. You can upgrade it if you have it already. Maybe it even stacks with the Tutor, so it's going to be another good investment for the companion. You can go with Spine Devil. I don't even have it here. You just need it too, just in case like you're using the same thing of the tank. And usually the two best are the Tutor and the Dritz. Tutor is gonna get a new version of it. Portobello you can get eventually. But it takes a while, a little more than a year, I think. Dritz, guys, Dritz, it's another thing. We have been getting Dritz for free, like every September, I think. Final end of August, September, I don't know, end of the year. We've been getting the Dritz for free. We got it like 2 times already, so maybe if you don't have it, hold it on buying it. Just wait to see if we get it for free again. But it's a good option. The best 2 options are Tutor and Dritz. Gotta have those two at least. Equipment wise, I'm using all single stat companion gear for outgoing healing. I know it's expensive, but it's worth it because the outgoing healing rages are really valuable. You're probably not gonna have it capped, so it's always good to have those. It's because it's so rare, it has the same effect about it's just as valuable as percentage stats, basically. Enhancement wise, I usually go with the dual senses, which is the second best after the armor break, which the tank normally runs. Uh, the paladin attacks are not as fast, so maybe the uptime of this is not as great, but we don't need the stats. But if you think like the uptime is not that great, maybe you can go with something that gives you stats like Invigorate for outgoing healing, critical strike, critical severity, whatever you need. Other options for debuffs are the load reactions to reduce deflect, vulnerability to reduce the critical avoidance. And another thing that reduces the enemy's damage, combat advantage, is the advantage notification. It comes from the Portobello, guys. So another reason to have Portobello. If you don't know, the boss always has combat advantage on you and the tank. So this is a good thing to have for mitigation. Bonus wise, we're using Quickling for the outgoing healing critical strike. We're using Dritz, critical strikes and severity. Raptor for the huge amounts of power. Black Dragon Ironstone for the critical strike. And the Sora GL for critical strike, critical severity. You can make this in a very different ways. It's good to have options, guys. You could, if you have everything already to have your builds on stats and stats capped, it's good to invest in new companions just in case, because you don't know in which direction the next module is going to go. So again, build up options is always good. Things like, for example, the new healing companion, let's say the Yeti here, is really cheap, like less than $1 million right now. Is as cheap as it gets. It's not going to get cheaper than that, honestly. So if you don't have an outgoing healing companion, is a good one to have. Another one, of course, is the Bullet. Another one, outgoing healing companion. We do have the power and critical severity from the Kenko Archer. We do have like Fawn, which gives power and critical strike. We do have like Alpha Compy. Where is that? Alpha Compy gives you power. We do have like a Deep Crow that gives you power as well. Let's see if it's that. Gives power as well. Baby Deep Crow. Not the Goldie version. The Baby Deep Crow regular gives power. We do have the Grumpy. That's Grumpy, which gives critical chance as well. Good to have. Probably, but it's not available anymore. It's from the Battle Pass. So build up options because you're probably gonna need to switch things around. So for mount power, guys, we're gonna need the same four, the usual four: Eclipse, Swarm, T-Rex, and Pegasus. After that, you can go for more, maybe the balloons, which is the next best thing for debuffs. After that, up to you. You can go for more utility. You can go for tunnel vision for clearing zones because you need some DPS. The Pegasus is a good investment because it helps you with clearing zones. I know Paladin is a tricky one to do to do the quests and campaign stuff. So Pegasus is great. Tunnel vision is great. The Vortex, which comes from the carpet, is great for ad clearing, to group up ads for DPS. Maybe after that, the Wings for pushing up the ads, and whatever you need, whatever you think is worth it. For quick power, you're going to be needing Mystic Aura, Runic Aura, and Pack Tactics. Those three are the most important ones because it gives stats to you and the other players. It's not the best. It's not the best scenario. I know you could be using something like power and critical severity. If you need stats, I guess you can go for that. But you see, we let go of 2,000 ratings to help everybody get like 2,000 more. So it's always good to get the runic, those 3 auras, guys. So for the mounts, mount colors, we've been using outgoing healing, movement speed, encounter power doesn't really matter, critical severity, and rough AD. What matters here is critical severity, movement speed, and the outgoing healing, of course. For the insignia bonus, we're using Shepherd's Devotion, although I don't think it's the best one. So if you have like Gladiator's Ghoul 4 slots more, I think there's another mount that gives Gladiator's Ghoul, I just don't have it. Maybe I think it's one of the butterflies, maybe the Neverwinter hand, I'm not sure. Gladiator's Ghoul is great for the movement speed, the Paladin needs it. So I'm using Shepherd's Devotion here, which is the next best thing in my opinion. Although we only use the daily power in mitigation scenarios, and we're probably not going to need the buff from this bonus. Lionheart's Perseverance, which is again for the lack of better options. It's an extra heal when we get pretty low on life. Gladiator's Goal for the movement speed, which is great. Magistrate's Patience, I've been telling you like for 3 modules already, this is the best thing to have as a healer. It procs this effect on healing. So whenever you do a critical heal on a target, you're gonna get the benefit of this insignia. So it's always gonna be active, guys, giving a little bit of defensive stats for everybody. Great to have as support. Mendel's Covenant for the additional healing stats. You could go the Assassin's Covenant for more offensive stats. You could go another Mendel's Covenant if you feel like it. Though know that the next Mendel's Covenant is going to get half the value, so we're going to have 750 instead of 1500. You could go with Survival Expertise for the 5000 Forte, which helps us a little bit regen, and more Gladiator's Goal. As I said, for the movement speed, you can get up to 3 Gladiator's Goal. It's going to help you, going to make you really fast. And if you ever decide to go with the tank, it helps with the stamina regen as well. So it's a good thing to have. Power wise, guys, we're going to be using as at will Divine Fulmination, and that's why I said the Merilith set and the Apocalypse set are not that great, because this is not going to proc. The other option is Valor Strike, and this is not an AoE attack, so it's not going to proc Grace. It's going to help. It's going to help you better. We're going to help you better with the uptime on Merilith and Apocalypse, but you have to let go of Grace. So I think the Vistani is the best option to go with the Paladin, and for that we need the Divine Fulmination for using Vistani and Grace. The other at will is Cure Wounds here for the healing. You pair up that with the Defeat Shelter Healing to increase the effectiveness. You cast the Divine Shelter on when the DPS gets damaged. You cast a quick Cure Wounds, and it's really good for capping people up. The HP. Encounter wise, we're gonna go with Sacred Weapon normally, and Divine Shelter and Circle of Divinity. If you feel like you don't need that much of regen, you can drop one of the 2, Sacred Weapon or the Circle of Divinity, to use, I don't know, Banishment. We've been using crowd control things like Banishment and the Burning Light in the new dungeon, because we do have a bunch of ads, so it's good to have those. It's an option. You could go with Bastion of Health, Divine Touch. I would only use Divine Touch in those dungeons that are more, people are more spread out, so you don't end up having another version of Divine Shelter, because you don't want to share the healing, so the people that you put in the Divine Touch gets the big shield. So that's why only on scared area, only people are spread around the area, like dragon hunts and such. Other than that, you could go with the Bounded Virtue as well. It's another healing. It doesn't cost divinity. It's on a cooldown, so it's an option as well. So for the daily, guys, I'm gonna be using Shield of Faith and Sanctuary. Depends on the situation, of course. If people are spread out, Shield of Faith. If people are together, Sanctuary. It gets, you give increased damage mitigation with Sanctuary, but people need to be together. You need to stand still holding the shield, you know what it is. And the heal over time is really strong. Shield of Faith, for people who spread it out, you're gonna increase your heals and people are gonna get a little mitigation of 5%. Other than that, maybe lay your hands if you feel like you need to quickly heal the tank after a tank buster. I don't really like the way lay your hands work. I would rather to raise a really strong barrier instead of you using after the tank takes damage. It's strange. I don't really use it, but you could. So feature-wise, we're going to be using Composure for Divinity Regen, and that's what I said. What I said about the MTOS helmet, stacking with the boots. I don't think you need those two, because we do have a bunch of stuff. We do have the Circular Divinity. We do have this feat here, which gives Sacred Weapon, some Divinity Regen. We do have this feat here, which also saves you Divinity. We do have this feat. This is the Sacred Weapon one. This is just by hitting the guy, you get regen. So you have a bunch of Divinity regen options. So I don't think you need those two pieces, but it's up to you. Other than Composure, we go with the Aura Restoration. You could go with Aura Wrath for helping up people, capping the critical strike. But I don't think people are gonna need it, and I'd rather have increased heals and shields. So we go with Aura Restoration. If you are missing critical strike, it's still better to use Aura Restoration. If you're missing 4 critical strike, still better to go with Restoration. Aura Restoration. The incoming healing is better, guys, because people usually have like 30% incoming healing, even in tanks. So if you invest in incoming healing, you're gonna get more return for your heals. So that's why Restoration is always better, even if you compare with our life. Incoming healing here is going to increase both the heals and the shields. Our life is going to only give you an additional 50 magnitude of heal, which is not big a deal, to be honest. I'd rather have the bigger shields. Feat wise, we're going to go with Shelter Healing for increasing the effectiveness of Cure Wounds. Battle Focus. Whenever I do damage, I get some regen. You could go with Prayer of Opportunity. I prefer this one because it's more universal. Enduring Spirit for regen on Divine Shelter. This one is up to you, doesn't really matter. I do Convalescence is kind of pointless in my opinion. So I pick the Divine Intervention in case I want to use the Lay on Hands. And the last feat, kind of mandatory to increase the shield size. You go with the Emissary Award. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I'll be gladly answering those. And I'll see you guys around. Take care.